This episode is brought to you by Whitaker Garage Doors, your one-stop shop for all things garage doors, proudly based in Peekskill, New York. Your home is a direct reflection of your personal style, and let's face it, your garage doors are the first thing people see when they pull up your driveway. Whether you're looking for the timeless charm of a classic carriage house door or the clean, sleek look of a basic wood finish, Whitaker Garage Doors offers traditional options for every taste and budget. I can personally vouch for their incredible service. When I had my own garage doors done, I was blown away by their timeliness, professionalism, and overall respect for their clients. Jonathan, Cassara, and their entire team are top-notch, and they really go the extra mile to ensure you're happy with the final result. So if you're in the market for a new garage door or need some repairs, give them a call or find them on Instagram at Whitaker_doors. Don't forget to tell them you're a friend of Dave's over at the No Snooze Podcast. Whitaker Doors. You won't regret it. Now, back to the epi. Adversity? Bring it. The struggle? I welcome it. Snooze on life? Never that. I am Dave Regina, and this is the No Snooze Podcast. Come on. Welcome back, No Snooze Podcast, episode 243. As always, I'm in the booth. We got a good three today. Yeah. We got Pat, the Kettlebell King, Damiano.
Yes, sir.
Claudio, the Voice, Valenzuela. And I am Dave, the Body, Regina. Listen, so I just want to say to PD, my brother, thank you for coming back on the podcast. If you guys are not familiar with Pat, you could check out episode 178, I believe. We talk about his personal journey, which was actually the first time I think we met.
Yeah.
But just a brief scope of Pat. He's become a phenomenal friend of mine. He is an entrepreneur. He is the founder and owner of Project Bellplex, which is a program that we'll talk about a little bit more that has really changed the scope of how I move physically on a day-to-day basis. He's somebody that is just so invested and ingrained in personal professional development, and we're extremely aligned. And then also, he's a phenomenal husband with a great wife. Shout out to Cody. So Pat, welcome back, brother.
Thank you for having me. I'm pumped to be here. I really am. I had such a good time the first time I was here. And then, like you said, that was the first time we met, and now here we are. Done a lot of stuff together.
Crazy,
a lot,
right?
And I'm honored. So thank you.
A year and a half later, and you show up for us really as a partner in Ace now, in everything that we do. And I know we got some future plans.
Yes,
wink,
sir.
wink. But Pat has really taken over what we call our ORTs, which is outdoor resilience training. And we do that once a month at the Sail House in Tarrytown, some other locations here and there. But that's our co-ed style workout. So Pat leads the charge in that. And then he's also taken over our summits, which is actually coming up.
Yes, sir.
There might be one spot left by the time this drops. So Pat, yeah, man, what has been going on, I guess, in your life since the last time that we met? Start personal. Let's start light.
All right. Well, I'm going to make you a little uncomfortable for a second.
Oh, boy.
So when I was here a year and a half ago, a lot has changed for you. And I just want to say I'm proud of you. You're writing a book. Got that plugged in there. And the new space looks great. And I've listened to most of your episodes since I discovered you, since I was on, and a lot of them before that. And I just want to say you've gotten so good. You've done so many episodes what did we just say
43.
this was? 243. You've gotten better every single time. And I just want to say I'm proud of you because I know you struggle to say that for yourself, which we'll get into a little bit. But honestly, it looks great. You look great. Claudio's doing great things. This is a great podcast.
Thank you, my
And
brother.
I've been just hearing a lot. I've been listening to one specific podcast over and over, and they talk about how so many people, I think it's like once you reach episode 21, you're in like the 20%.
Mm-hmm.
So like you've just gotten so much farther than that and so many other people, and you've done good stuff. And I think you're in the top 10% listen. So
yeah, man.
I just want to say I'm proud of you for that. And I really do mean that.
I appreciate that. And I receive that. It's very hard.
There we go.
It is very hard to do. I receive it for this moment, right? I'm in this moment. But my problem, and I think that you can relate to too, is the fact that like you are so driven and you're always wanting to do so much, and because you're only scratching the surface of really where you want to be, you almost don't acknowledge the progress that's made.
Always.
And that's like a gift and a curse, I think.
Yep.
You know, and that's something that you have kind of been my accountability partner on. You know, when it comes to this stuff. So thank you for that as well.
Oh, my pleasure.
For challenging me a little bit.
Of course, I got you.
How's your wife doing? See, besides you being my favorite, she really enhances.
Dude,
you were like a 7.5 out of 10 when I met you, and then when I met her, you just shot up to a 9.5 out of 10. So yeah, she just makes you better in every way. But
She's
how's
gonna
Cody
be
doing?
so pumped we're talking about her already. So she's great, honestly. She's actually a big part of what has gotten me better at celebrating. She's such a big factor in that of, you know, like you said, we don't see it ourselves. So it's really nice to have somebody who like, I'm like, hey, I did this. And I'll just say it like casually. And she'll be like, you should be really proud of that. Let's go out and celebrate. Let's do this. Let's do that. And I'm like, no, it's cool. Like, it was just wanted to let you know. And she's like, no, we're going to celebrate this. You should be proud of it. You've done amazing things. So she's just great in that department. But
awesome.
In general, she's doing really good. She actually just started a new job 6 or 7 weeks ago with a company called Playbook, which is a really, really good app for any fitness people out there that want to get their programs online. They're great. And she's just enjoying the people that she works with. She's in a space that she likes, which is health and fitness, but also tech startup-y. She works with really cool people. The CEO is awesome. She's just having a really good time. So she's been in a good spot. You know, she's very driven like us. So not having a job for a period of time, she willingly didn't have a job for a period of time, was like, you know, I could tell it was starting to get there. So she's just in a better place. We're type of people, and she's type A too, and the type of person that does better with a goal, a purpose, something to strive towards. So she's doing really good.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing though? Because I don't know if the younger me realized this as much as I do now, how important and pivotal it is to have such a supportive partner.
Yeah.
You know, whether that's your girl, your fiance, your wife, your husband, whatever. It just makes all the difference. But also, it can be detrimental too.
Yeah. I can't even imagine not having someone who's supportive. We were somewhere, I forget where, but I remember somebody talking to me about how their wife wasn't supportive of what they were doing and like talk some smack about it or whatever. It wasn't really fully seeing the vision. And I just remember sitting there like, that sounds like it sucks because I've never dealt with that. She's always understood and been on board and believes in me. And I honestly can't imagine what that would be like. Having, you know, there's a difference between not having somebody that believes in you and having somebody who doesn't believe in what you're doing. And if you're around that all day, I don't know what I would do. I'd probably start to believe them and be like, oh, screw this. I should be doing something else. So
that's a great point.
It's just so helpful. And just their presence in general is just, they make you, I always joke. So there was a period of time where my parents were away and I had to watch their dog. So for a week, me and Cody like saw each other, but I was staying at my parents' house and I just like fell off the wagon. I just like didn't do that much work. I was lazy. I'm like, I'm going to watch some TV in the middle of the day. I'll eat different dinners, which had nothing to do with like her, but like just not being in the presence of her. I don't know. Maybe it was because I was off my routine, but I just remember thinking to myself, I was like, if I was single right now, I might fall off the wagon a little bit, just having that presence. And, you know, obviously we're building a life, so I'm motivated by that, but just having her there is great.
You guys will both laugh at this. So I'm talking to Katie yesterday, and she just hits me randomly. She was actually like reaching for the microwave. She turns around to me, and she's like, what's your dream girl? And I'm like, oh boy, sounds like some level of setup. But like, so immediately my response, like one, trying to figure out what her thought process was, but my immediate response was you, right? And she's like, do you really believe that? I'm like, yeah, I mean, you got a little attitude sometimes, but, you know, besides that, you're absolutely my dream girl. And she was showing me this video, I guess, just about how this gentleman went on TikTok just saying, like, how he's so blessed because he's married to his dream girl. And she had saw the video, and he was giving advice to anybody in a relationship saying, like, look, if this is not your dream person, like, I know it sounds simple, but you probably shouldn't be together.
Yeah.
When I look at you guys and I'm around you guys, I feel that genuinely from you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, so maybe you pull the trick on Cody
I
before
will.
she sees it. Say, tell me about your dream, man. If she's like, well, I think he's a little bit taller, and then we won't give her all these compliments.
Bigger calves, a little taller.
Yeah, and you know me, man. I roasted Pat. He was on a podcast one day. I think it was Mike Chernow's podcast.
Chernow's,
right?
yeah.
Yo, my boy had the thigh highs galore. These things were shorter than my Calvin Klein microfibers. All right, so he came with some longer ones.
A little bit more
today.
professional.
But you know what? Not for nothing, you could do it, my brother, because you got good legs, bro.
I got some quads. You know, I will. Yeah, I do. I know that. I'll admit it. I'll admit it.
I love how he's like, yeah, I do. And he's looking at me like, womp, womp.
I didn't look at you and say
No,
that.
I know. I'm just busting your chops.
Yeah.
So what would you say, I guess, how has business really taken off for you from just a year and a half ago, right?
God.
Because it's, I mean, from what I understand on the content side of things, there's that side, but also on your subscription-based model, you have hundreds of members, and I call you a global performance coach, right? He's like, I don't know about global, but you're global, my brother, because you have people streaming all over the world, right?
Yeah, all over.
So talk to me about that.
Europe, all different types of countries. Which is one of the cooler things about, I think, what I do. It's kind of one. It's just the internet in general. You're going to reach the whole world, but specifically with the kettlebells, what I do, they're a little bit more international. I don't know. I think that would be the way I describe it. So 60% of my audience on Instagram and YouTube is outside of the U.S. Some of that's Canada and stuff, so it's kind of the same. But it's something that's really cool, and it didn't hit me so, I'll say foreign, but I see it a lot. European people tend to end their messages with like, cheers from Greece, Belgium, cheers from Germany. And I started getting a lot more of those, and I was like, there's a lot of people from like not in the U.S. and the other side of the freaking world doing my stuff and being like, hey, man, really appreciate it. So that's just been something that is cool to see, is that it's reaching people of all different shapes, sizes, nationalities, different countries and stuff like that. And it's just something that's kind of made me appreciate what I have built. Like we were saying, appreciating what you've done sometimes. And that's one of the things that sticks out of, I'll sit back and be like, okay, this is pretty cool.
Any adjustments to the business model from like a year and a half ago that you've now learned?
God, where was I a year and a half ago? I mean, a year and a half ago, Project Belplex was probably like a little side hustle, and it was nice. It was bringing in some extra money, which was cool. And at the time we spoke, I was probably going into the gym 6 times a week, and now it's just 4, because that's grown and has become my main thing. So a lot of adjustments in my in-person business. I'm not there as much, and the majority of the effort has been going into building the online business as much as I can. I love it. It's a ton of fun, and it's, the internet is cool. You can reach the entire world, and you can do some really cool things when you put a lot more effort and energy into it. And just through that whole process, you get better, you end up reaching more people, you make the product better, and so on and so forth.
Now, what would you say? So I know one of the nuggets last time you even helped me with was the power and importance of like even a business coach.
Yeah.
Right. So you spoke about that a little bit.
Yes.
The last time. But if I were to say, hey, look, somebody has this, somewhat successful business now online. What is maybe 1 or 2 tangible things that they can do to just continue to grow? Because I feel like a lot of us, you get to a certain level, and then either you get comfortable or you feel like you can't scale for whatever reason.
Yes.
And I heard this, CV, I'm going to get tongue-tied again on it with the Ed Milet thing. He was talking about how too many people focus on a new message to new people, but really the key is an old message to new people. Does that make sense?
It does, because I literally heard you talking about this as I was driving here. I was listening to that solo episode. But I think that's a big thing. And it's especially in the fitness industry, we see so much of trying to reinvent the wheel and trying to come up with a new thing and so on and so forth. And I think it works in the beginning, but to have a lasting business, this goes for anything, right? But just specifically in the fitness industry, the basics, the old message just constantly repeated, maybe said in a different way. I think that's where people maybe get a little lost, is they're trying to say something new when it's like, just say the same thing in a different way, because it'll probably reach different people and it'll make more sense to them. I think that's something that I think a lot of people should be focusing on for the long game, because at the end of the day, if you're going to have a business for 2, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you're not going to keep that business afloat by constantly reinventing the wheel, and you're going to drive yourself crazy. You get really good at something when you talk about it all the time. So if you're constantly changing, you're just going to be for lack of a better term, starting over in a sense. That's probably a bit of an aggressive term. But for the most part, I'm good at teaching kettlebells because that's all I talk about. I know how to teach a swing really well because I talk about it all the time. And I have 15 different ways that I can teach it, which is like what you said. So I think that is really good advice for people. And the other thing I would say is the same thing I said last time. I still have my business coaches. I call them my mentors now. I think I've graduated past that because they will help you get out of those funks or get out of the comfort. And I was telling CV a little bit before this, I'm not going to get into too much detail, but they've been super helpful the past couple months because I probably was getting a little comfortable and, you know, there's some things that we need to do to change things up. And if I didn't have them every week to talk to and look at the numbers and what's working and what's not, I'd probably just continue to coast where I was and like maybe not realize I was going slightly down or just slightly up. And the goal is to, you know, progress and hockey stick up and really take this thing to the next level. And sometimes hockey stick is like exponentially go up. And they're really helpful with that because I've heard other people talk about that in business is sometimes the thing that got you from point A to point B is not the same thing that's going to get you from point B to point C. You have to adjust a little bit. And that's something that's kind of hit me hard lately. And having them has been helpful.
Do you run like ads and stuff? Like paid ads?
No.
See, so I always hear this because, and honestly, I do it here and there with some of my videos, like some of my speaking videos. But I know what I do when those pop up on my phone and literally
move on.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've tried to like shorten like some clips with my message. And I'll get 50,000 views on it, maybe 100,000 views on it. But the conversion is really not anything crazy. So I was curious to know, like, from your exponential growth, are you like running ads or you're not really?
I'm not running any ads. The one thing I will do from time to time, which is probably what you're talking about, is boosting a post.
Yes.
So I've done that so I try to take like a longer term or a longer strategy to that.
Yep.
I'll boost a post that I know has already done well in the past. I'll boost that with the intention and with like the goal. When you boost a post, there's a few different goals. The goal is just have people click the button and they get taken right to my Instagram page. And then from there, they might want to follow me. They'll follow for 3 or 4 months, and then maybe they want to get on the program. That's the way I look at it.
Yep.
A lot of people run ads straight to their website or to book a call or whatever it is. I've never done that primarily out of stubbornness. I'm like, I got organic content. I like that. It's more fun for me. And it's just something that never fully made sense. We've talked about it. I've just never really done it, honestly.
No, I was just curious myself. What would you say, because I mean, I know my opinion, but what do you think separates your approach to business?
Business.
Yeah.
Okay.
To the business and training, though, because your business is technically training, from everybody else in this kind of space.
Okay.
Because when I see it, right, like there's a lot of dudes that swing kettlebells, right? There's a lot of dudes. But you truly have this authenticity about you that the status never means anything. And some people, I feel like they get to this point, especially in the training game. I don't see it's like they're almost too big time to like kind of hang out with you.
Yeah.
And not hang out with you, you know what I mean? But like to really like just dumb it down to my level and like teach me, you know, a basic thing. Whereas I think you are so good at being able to take all fitness levels. And I think that maybe is a testament to kettlebells because you can't be doing Olympic lifts if that's all you're teaching. You can't have beginners doing that. To some extent, of course.
Right.
But with your classes and even Bellplex, you find ways to make it so relatable to just the average person. You know, so what would you
I appreciate that. I credit that to the years and years and years I spent teaching group fitness. Because when you're teaching, most of my group fitness that I taught my day was CrossFit, but I've done whatever you want to call it, regular group fitness as well. When you have a group of 8, 12, 15, 20 people in it, you get really good at understanding certain people need certain types of motivation, right? Your type of motivation is very different than the 46-year-old mom or the type of motivation I would give you, right? And you get really good at teaching things because the same way I'll teach you how to do a swing is not the same way I'm going to teach her to do a swing. Is not the same way I'm going to teach somebody else to do a swing. Everybody's just going to, different things are going to click differently, which is what I was saying before a little bit is taking the basics and just saying them different ways. So I think I got really good at teaching a bunch of different people and teaching fairly complex things simply in a short period of time. Because if I'm with somebody one-on-one for an hour, I could spend 15 minutes with them teaching them how to do a swing. When you are in a group fitness class, I can't spend 15 minutes with one person. I have to come up with the simplest way to teach it, fix the most important thing, because sometimes you can't fix 5 things at once, because you just have to fix the most important, and doing it quickly and then moving on. And I think just years of that, doing it with kids as well, was a huge help. I think I've gotten pretty good at teaching all of that stuff quickly, simply, and for many different people, which translates well into short form content. And then also just being with people in person, which is why I'll always train people in person, because it keeps me sharp.
Yeah, quickly and simply is something you do very well. Because even me, when I'm thinking about it, right, when I think about you and I think about a kettlebell swing, I'm like, okay, chest to floor, head to the ceiling. Chest to floor, head to the ceiling. Like little cues like that that you've kind of drilled into me over the past year. And for those maybe who are just listening and are not familiar with, what Pat does, Project Bellplex, like we mentioned, the first time that I sat down with you, I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a shot. So, I signed up with Pat, and it took me, I always struggle, whether it was 8 or 9 weeks of doing this program, to where I literally would hit up Pat and be like, yo, dude, this thing is not for me. And he literally would just keep saying basically what I would say in terms of like mindset and leadership. You got to just keep going. Just keep being consistent. Don't worry about the number of the kettlebell. I'm like, Pat, this 46-year-old mom is actually swinging a heavier bell than me.
The baby bells.
I was out here swinging baby bells for a long time. But then something happened. And I want people to hear this because it's very important. Although I was in shape, I was not anywhere near the type of shape that I'm in today, which is, yes, a year and a half later, but I either swing a bell or utilize a kettlebell probably 5 times a week now because of you. And I was more just of a big bodybuilder style. And it has translated to life for me. Carrying my daughter around, swinging her around, doing things that always my lower back would feel so tight because I sit down the majority of the day. These regular movements that Pat has you doing on Project Bellplex, and this is not, you didn't tell me to say this. You know what I mean? It really changed the trajectory of my fitness journey. And shout out to Nick Menente as well, who provided me with some level of warm-up. I am a creature of habit. No pun to Mike Chernow. But, I needed a routine that I could do every single day. And between like some exercise you given me and Nick has given me, it's about a 6-minute warm-up that I do every single day. And I just want people to hear that, because you can get involved. And it might take an uncomfortable amount of time, i.e. 2 months, before you start to feel good. Even somebody who is in shape, that part is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, and a lot of that is, it's part of the reason some people think kettlebells are dumb, but also the reason I think they stick with certain people is it's a skill. You sit down on a bench, it's pretty straightforward to press some dumbbells overhead, do some curls, which is fine. They have their purpose. There's nothing wrong with them. Teaching or learning how to do a kettlebell swing properly, or a snatch or a clean or whatever, is a skill. And just like any skill, you're like, I suck. And then all of a sudden one day you're like, oh, I'm a lot better now. And then you kind of plateau a little bit. Usually with skills, it's a staircase and less of just like a line graph up. You're just going for a while. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, I got a lot better. And then you kind of plateau a little bit, and all of a sudden, I got a lot better. And that's what I think happens with kettlebells, which is why sometimes it takes time. And just from a physical standpoint, it's usually much different than what most people are doing, especially if they're coming from like a bodybuilding type of background.
Yep. I could be off, but I kind of equate kettlebells like dancing almost. It's kind of like a swag.
Yeah.
Like I used to be real goofy, and I would look at you and be like, yo, this dude is so fly with this kettlebell. Like I want to be able to do a snatch. But then I just kept practicing. Like I would practice my dance moves. And then like you get this level of swag to it. Now, honestly, I can't wait for people to look my way when I'm snatching in the gym. I get excited about it because I'm like, I know I look good.
You look like not that you didn't, right? But you see somebody in the gym doing a snatch with a kettlebell, you look at them and say, that person probably knows what they're doing in this building.
Right. Yeah. No, and honestly, I really do encourage everybody to just check it out. Just try to get involved. Follow Pat, because it's very dope. What would you say is your and we're still staying on business, but what's been the toughest, business lesson for you along the way? And it could be, I think it's different at many stages, right? But maybe if there's one, I guess, where you're at even now, or you want to go back to one that you can kind of think of.
There's 2 that come into my mind immediately. One is, I don't want to say asking for help, but I'm very lone wolfish. And I think we talked about this last time actually, but I'm very lone wolfish and I'll figure it out. I'll do it on my own and so on and so forth. And I still think that is good for entrepreneurs. You should have an idea of how to do everything, but you get to a point where it's either not worth your time and or you're not as good as somebody else who you can hire to do it, or you have a partner or whatever it is get somebody else to help you in the realms that you're not good at and you're not doing properly because you're not as good at them, or it's taking you a while or something like that. I think that is something that a lot of entrepreneurs probably need, is other people to help them out, even if it's just a little bit. It's going to cost a little bit of money, but it just takes so much time and mental energy off of your plate. And that is unquantifiable in the moment until you get it and you say, oh, I didn't realize how much time and energy that specific task was taking.
So you said something that made me put a pin there, the money situation. I feel like some people, as they're building their business, the common thing, even like with me, is like, I don't have enough money to go hire that person. You know, so you kind of don't do it. Then you take like the long drawn out route. Did you put money up front before you were actually making money to get that help?
So I will start by saying I was in a very fortunate position. I am not the quit everything you're doing, dive into this passion project head first. I had a full-time in-person training business, which like was business, but I was kind of just, I would go in, train my people, and that was it, right? So yes, I technically owned my own business, but I wasn't really a businessman. I was just a personal trainer, which is fine. So I was making decent money when I started to make the shift into the online world. So I had some, not disposable, but I had some money that I could pour into certain things. I didn't back the truck up and unload it on there, but I had some money that I could spend on a business coach, spend on somebody to come to my house and film content and edit it for me from time to time. So I had that, which I was very fortunate about. And as I've built, I've been able to put a little bit more in here, a little bit more in there. So it is very dependent on the situation. And I don't necessarily want to say, if you have X amount of money, go spend X amount of money and reinvest it. At the end of the day, you need your money to live, pay rent, and so on and so forth. So I had that one side of my business, which was doing well, and I could just start to shovel some of it into this online business of mine, which is where I really embrace the entrepreneurship and business side of me.
Gotcha.
So I was fortunate in that regard, but at the same time, I'm now in a position where I'm pretty comfortable being like, I need this thing for the business. I'm going to get it. It's worth it. I need somebody else to do this because it's taking too much time. I'm not good at it, and it's taking up mental space in my head. So I've gotten a lot better at that, and it's really hard because you can't see it in the moment. It's once you do it, you realize, oh, it's really nice to not have to do that, and it's worth the money. As long as you have somebody good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Me and CV were talking about this a little bit because even where he's at in his business, right? You know, bringing on people now and having them do certain tasks and stuff, it just makes sense. Because if not, I mean, you're just draining your own time. And yeah, it might be a little bit of a resource, but hopefully there's money coming in to do that.
That's the goal, is you end up with more time to do the things you're actually good at, and then you can do those things that bring in more.
Right. Yeah, I want to pick your brain a little bit on content, right? Your thought on the professional camera versus like the iPhone. So we went back and forth at the very beginning of No Snooze. I don't know if you're familiar with this. We had Mike Pirelli, who was a co-host of mine. He basically was like, yo, man, like we can start this podcast, dude. Like we can just kind of take our iPhones and kind of like roll, get some like plug-in things and just go. And I was so dead set against it to the point that then I tried to convince my guy over here about 17 times to do the audio visual behind No Snooze. And for us, I think it was the right play because we didn't have anything else going. And for me at the time, like podcasting changed my life. But if I ever put a podcast on that sounded bad or like didn't have the quality of what I was looking for, I would have turned it off immediately. So I felt like no one knows who Dave Regina is or Mike Pirelli is. Like we need to have a level of professionalism. Then you look at the other side of things. You look at Rashad, Troy, and Mike. These guys built Earn Your Leisure off of iPhones.
Yep.
And they're way bigger than No Snooze is. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't think one way is right or wrong. But talk to me about that and your thoughts on it.
No, I love this because I get this question a lot from people who want to start making Instagram content and they think they need a professional camera and so on, and you don't. I always say my school of thought is you have to keep up with the status quo. So what I mean by that is, like you said, you need at least an iPhone, right? You need an iPhone and you need, I'm talking short form content. So podcasting might be different, but every industry, podcast, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram is going to have its minimum standard. Where like you said, if you were listening to a podcast that didn't have good audio, it's off. But if you were watching it and it didn't have the greatest visual, or there's a good chance you were like going for a run and the visual wasn't great, but the audio was good enough, you're going to watch it. So for podcasting, the audio is super important because most people aren't watching them anyway. They're listening to them. For Instagram, same thing. Nowadays, audio is super important. Everybody has a good mic and they're like $100. You have to buy it. But you don't need $1,000, $1,500 camera. Your iPhone is plenty good enough. When I moved into YouTube, I was looking at videos and thinking, most people have a decent camera. I was also fortunate enough to where I could get one. So I bought myself a decent camera because to me, that was like the minimum standard for a decent YouTube channel. And then obviously the audio is involved as well. So I think that is super important, is keep up with the minimum standard. Most people on Instagram are filming all their stuff on the phone and it is plenty good enough. Wipe your camera and make sure it's clean, get a $100 microphone and get a tripod. Like that's the basic stuff. And you could post on Instagram or TikTok, any short form content forever with just that and be fine. You in the YouTube space, start out with your phone, but still get a decent mic. And then at some point, you're probably going to want the nicer camera. But I'm a big proponent of just start and it's not going to be good in any way. No matter how good your setup was in the beginning, you probably are going to look back and be like, damn, that sucked. And that's fine because you're going to get better along the way. But when it comes to what you can get away with, it's a lot less than people think. You just need to be on par with everybody because like you said, if you're scrolling on your phone and 10 videos have good audio and then an 11th one doesn't, moving right on because it just doesn't sound good. So that's my
and now tap into schedule a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because so for us, I mean the mandatory thing was like, look, whatever is going on in our lives, and there was 3 of us at the time, so it was tough, and there was a lot of travel back and forth, and like kids got involved, and families, it's chaos. Yeah. But we set it and we put it on the calendar, and that's why we're still here today. Because if not, and I'm sure you would agree, there were plenty times where we probably would have quit, right? And one of us would be pulling like, yo, we meeting today? Then the other one would be like, all right, let's do it. And then I'd show up like, with a 1-pager of like the topic for the day or whatever. So for content, I would assume schedule is very important. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, it's definitely, especially the beginning stages. And in terms of how you schedule, everybody's going to work a little differently. I'll speak on my behalf, at least, is I try and have a specific time where I write down all my stuff. So I script a bunch of stuff, I'll come up with ideas, I'll write an email, make it longer, that turns into a YouTube video, make it shorter, that turns into an Instagram video, but it's all the writing aspect of it. And then I have a day where I film. So that's just kind of how the way I like to work. I'm a little bit more scattered now because I kind of have the ability to do that. But when I was really, really heavily focused on being adamant with my content, it was that. I have a very specific time. Tuesday mornings, I would write all of my stuff. And then I would film my stuff. And then also what helped was kind of like what you were saying is I would schedule a time with a videographer. He'd come to my house. We'd shoot for an hour and then he would do all of the editing. But what that made me do is say, okay, he's coming. I need 10 videos ready. Schedule that into my calendar 2, 3, 4 days before and get that all planned out. And that was really helpful to just batch all of that stuff.
I love that. And I think that's now something though that like, it never stops, right? It never stops because you get to this place online and now people want your content. Yeah. Right? So like even for me, there's times where like, it's like, I want to, maybe take my foot off the gas a little bit, but it's like, nah, man, people want it, right? If I don't like work out one day and not post my gym picture, I got clowns that are like, oh, you didn't work out today? No snooze. You know what I mean? Yeah. So then there is this level of like just always trying to just make sure you're putting stuff out too. And I was having a pretty deep conversation, and I don't know if you can relate to this at all, but I'm actually going to throw up a clip on Instagram of this too, because it's fresh in my mind. With more influence comes insecurities, because like in my world, I am very much filling other people's cup up, right? I'm inspiring, I'm encouraging, I'm motivating. And at times I almost develop these like internal limiting beliefs of, you're not that guy, bro. Like, are you really him? Do you really belong here? Should you be on that stage? Should you get this opportunity? Should this brand back you?
Yeah.
And I just see that, with new levels come these new devils. And I'm curious on your end.
That was good.
on your end, is that relatable at all?
It is. I've gone back and forth with this a lot, actually. It's imposter syndrome, basically, I still don't know how I actually stand on it because I've heard both sides and they both make sense, right? The only people who don't have imposter syndrome are imposters, right? So if you're, right? So it's like basically saying if you're good at what you do, you're always going to have some sort of belief like, am I that guy? But then I've heard on the other side is like the people who have imposter syndrome are the people who don't believe in what they're doing and are maybe like stretching things a little bit. So I'm very much so in the middle of that, but I do think that no matter what, because of the internet, you're going to get comments, you're going to get this, you're going to get trolls and losers saying stuff. It's really hard to completely ignore that. And it's the more influence you get and the more people are following you, the more of those you're going to get and the more you're going to take them to heart. Because you're going to have 100 comments on a post and 99 are good. And that one kind of keeps you up a little bit at night.
I'm still deleting it.
And then all of a sudden you have 200 comments and 198 are good, but there's 2 bad ones. And that train just kind of keeps going. And it's human nature to just look at it and say, are they right? Maybe it was criticism. Maybe they're just having a bad day. Maybe they're just an upset person who just needs some sort of like trolling outlet. And I try to think of that at times as well as maybe they're just having a bad day. But I do believe that deep down, because I've struggled with both sides of this where I was posting stuff and like as I look back on it, I think I wasn't that confident what I was doing. Now I'm way more confident. So I have grown in that aspect to the sense of deep down, if I truly believe in what I'm doing, I'm going to have these flashes of, am I that guy? Was this a good idea? And maybe sometimes we say certain things that like we're stretching or whatever it is. But overall, as a whole, as long as you truly believe in what you're doing and believe that you're making a difference and what you're saying is correct, I think as a whole, imposter syndrome tends to kind of like fizzle out and you get the flashes of it from time to time. That would be my kind of
you
my
posted a
experience
hilarious video the other day. I don't know if you saw it, CV, but my boy I think you were driving in the car. I didn't even really know what you were talking about because I was just looking at this big booger in your nose. And literally, I mean, I was amazed though, like underneath it literally said, yes, I'm aware of the booger. We're all about organic content out here. And he was just spitting straight fire with a big booger in his nose. And I'm like, wow, that probably did really good for you.
Yeah, it did. People thought it was, I mean, I was talking about when I'm not in class and how it's good for business for trainers to go away once in a while.
Yes.
Because it makes your people realize that they miss you and like, oh man, I need this guy in my life and it's good for business, which is half a joke and half true. But yeah, I filmed it and then I went to post. I was like, oh, I got a big ass booger. I'm like, I said what I wanted to say. Like, I don't care. It's just
that's good.
It's fun. I do believe, and you said it earlier, the authentic people use that word a lot. I try to just be myself. It's so corny and cliche, but my wife said this, Cody said this a while ago, before I even actually had followers. She said, you're the same person online as you are in person, like when you meet me. And that's always my goal is if you meet me, I want you to be like, oh, he's exactly what I thought. And that's just what I want to do. I always say, I just want to be a guy. I just want to be a normal person who happens to be really good at one thing. And that's why you follow me. That you're one thing that you're interested in. I'm interested in kettlebells, but I treat social media obviously as part of my job, but also this is what I'm doing. I have a funny thought. I'll just throw it up there. I got a booger. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, that was next level. Because I think I probably would have wiped the booger.
I just didn't feel like filming it again.
That's good.
I said what I needed to say, and I was like, I'm good.
I think it's great. I just don't know. If I'm being completely honest with myself, I don't know if I would have posted that. You would post that, CV?
I was close to not, and then I was driving. I was like, whatever.
I think that's great that you did, man.
I think people enjoy that. I got out of that for a while, where I was very Instagram is my business, and actually, shout out to Cody. She called me out on it a little bit, And once she called me out in a very constructive wife way. And I realized she was probably right and started just kind of doing my thing again. Again, just being a normal person who happens to be really good at teaching kettlebells. And that's why you follow me. And I posted something about Lord of the Rings, which you may or may not know is like my huge nerd itch. And someone messaged me and said, "Oh, I didn't know you loved Lord of the Rings." I was like, how do you follow me and not know that? I clearly haven't been posting enough of like me just being me. And that was a switch of like, okay, let me just get back to being a normal ass dude because that's what I am. And I just like swinging kettlebells. And you do too, so you follow me.
Listen,
so that's it.
I get it. For the past 5 years, I've trusted Kai Vision Studio with my podcast. And every time, Claudio delivers an exceptional experience. The setup here is flawless. Professional lighting, crystal clear audio, and a custom set that makes every episode look elite. As someone who speaks on leadership, I know how important it is to show up with clarity and confidence. This studio allows me to do just that. The quality here isn't just about the equipment, it's about the environment. Claudio has created a space where I can focus on my message, knowing the production will be sharp, engaging, and professional. In a world flooded with content, standing out matters. And having a studio like this gives me the edge to produce videos and podcasts that truly connect with my audience. If you're serious about creating high quality content, I can't recommend Kai Visions enough. Claudio makes you feel at home, yet delivers at the highest level. 5 years in, I'm not going anywhere else. Let's tap into Ace a little bit.
Let's do it.
All right. You've been plugged into Ace, and shout out to my brother, my business partner, Sean Degnan. You've been part of Action Cultivates Excellence for a year and a half now. Yeah. We've really only been in business for not even 2 years. So you joined within the first 6 months. What has Ace really done for you? Like, I don't think I've ever sat down and really had the conversation. I know you've given nods, along the way. But what would you say like Ace really has done for you?
The biggest thing besides meeting you, Sean, and the crew and all that, Ace has gotten me to open up more. The VBDs at the dinners and at the summit made me realize like how powerful, refreshing, and if there's a verb for takes the weight off your shoulders of just talking about the shit that you've got going on and knowing that no one's judging you, most likely somebody else has gone through the same scenario, most likely everybody has, and just even if you don't, and you guys talk about this at the dinners, even if I don't get any advice, it's just, I said it. I got it out there. That feels good. That's the biggest thing that it did for me. And it did it for me the first freaking dinner that I went to. And I was driving home on a high. And it just felt good to do that for the first time with other guys and to just get it out there. And now I'm super comfortable. It makes me talk to my wife a little bit more about certain things that might be happening. I used to be a big bottle up kind of guy. And then I just get angry. And it made me just way more comfortable, I think, with having uncomfortable conversations and saying things that are on my mind, which has been super important as a husband, hopeful father one day, friend, businessman, and all of that stuff. It's got me very comfortable with that.
Yeah, that's something I think for all of us is so important too, because we look this way, right? Yeah. You look a certain way, people judge you automatically, and 99% of the time they're probably right on what they're judging, So we're like kind of this 1% that's now like, yeah, well, you know what you're saying might be true, but there's also this other side to it. And then we battle the I guess the clowns out there that are saying that we're just a bunch of softies. And then I had to bring clarity to that in the last dinner. I'm like, bro, we got some killers in here too, man. Like there's some trained individuals in here, man. So it's like a perfect blend, and we talk about that, right? The balance between masculinity and vulnerability. But like you're saying, I think it just translates, to every aspect of life. And for me, it's just brought me so much more alignment. And also it holds me accountable. It really holds me accountable. And I don't like what it's done for Catherine in my relationship, because anytime we get into it, she's like, oh, look in the mirror. Yo, okay, leader. Okay, leader. Oh, action cultivates excellence. I'm like, oh, God. So that part is a little bit tough. But no, she's great with supporting it. And I think, what's so important about it is that the women really love
Yeah.
it too.
Yeah.
And that's huge too. And honestly, if it's not even ACE, if it's not Action Cultivates Excellence and it's another group, I think it's so important because I'm one that doesn't love the networking side of things. I really don't like going to events and just drink. Because when I was doing it, I was just drinking, going to have maybe some good food. And if that's what you're doing, that's fine. But I feel like a group like this really helps build the business as well.
For sure.
Right? Like it adds to the business. Have you seen like return on
Yeah, I think I've got like
as well?
4 or 5 ACE guys on Project Bellplex.
Yeah, that's that's
great.
just a win-win. What does leadership mean to you? I've never really asked you this question. And I think nowadays the answer to all the ugliness that is going on is one word, man, and it's leadership.
Yeah.
The last episode I did solo was like me even talking about some political stuff. And, like I said, I truly believe that the majority of Americans feel the same way, but they've caused this major divide for whatever reason. But the one thing that I don't think people can divide is leadership, because that to me is all about growth and positivity. And then even when things are negative, it's like, okay, things can be negative, but we have to find a solution. I feel like oftentimes in politics, they just bash. There's no leadership involved.
Yeah. It's a good question. Leadership to me, the way I look at it and where I think I'm not going to get political here, but leadership to me, where I think it's the most valuable is the looking in the mirror. I think there's a lot of people throwing stones in the glass house of you did this, you did this, you did this. And it's like, your bed is unmade. You didn't work out today. You went to McDonald's, like all of that stuff. And I think it's just, and that's just a fitness example, right? I think there's just a lot of people who are angry, upset, scared, whatever negative emotion it is that they kind of lash out, which maybe they don't have a group or outlet to speak to other people about it, which gets it off their chest. But I think leadership comes down to looking in the mirror and focusing on yourself and really making yourself as good as you can, because that tends to lead to 2 things. Is one, you get motivated to teach other people to be that way, and or just by doing that, it's a external motivator for other people to say to themselves, I want to emulate that a little bit. This person looks confident. He's got his act together, whatever it is. It makes them want to kind of be like him a little bit. I use Jocko Willink as the example.
Yep.
He's probably unintentionally led so many people down very good paths just by being him.
Just by posting a picture of his watch.
Just by posting a picture of his watch. He's like, if this dude can get up at 4 every single day, I probably can too. Maybe I'll do it twice a week instead of 5. But now that person gets up at 4 a.m. twice a week. They start to work out. They feel better. Let's just say they were a dad who was a little overweight, as an example. Now their kid wants to work out to be their dad. And it's just kind of like this snowball trickle effect where if you take care of you and your home your proverbial home, I think it just kind of bleeds out into other areas of you getting motivated to teach people or people being inspired by you. I think that's where it comes down to.
I love that. Staying on that same, that same area, you're going through a significant, just life change with moving, right? It's very hectic. It's chaotic. Hectic. The office is not the same. Your space is kind of messed up. I'm curious to know, even for myself, how did you stay disciplined when the routine gets thrown off like that? And I know you to be very honest, so I want to hear it all. But then even somebody, trying to relate it back to somebody who may be struggling in their life, i.e. a breakup, i.e. moving, starting a new business, and that type of stuff.
Disciplined in what aspect?
Because the needle still got to move, my brother, right? Like you still have a business to operate. You still have a family to support. And yes, obviously, your wife works, but, you guys have to be supportive. So whether that's financially or emotionally, you still have to show up. And when you're married and you're in a relationship, just because maybe you want to be down in the dumps, it's not fair to the other person.
Yeah. So I have probably slightly controversial thoughts on discipline, I guess. So in this scenario, so let's just say right now as I'm going through this move and living at my parents, my office is my parents' living room floor. My couch is there, my desk is their coffee table because I have to plug into the internet, so I have to be in a certain space in the house. My gym isn't set up. There's a lot of factors. For that stuff, for me personally, it comes down to that's just what you do, though. Like, I have to work out because this is what I do. I want to, I have to get my work done because that's what I do. There's these roadblocks, these humps, and so on and so forth. But that's what I do. It's what I have to do. It's what I like to do. And it is also in this situation temporary, which is helpful, right? I know we will eventually have everything set up. And if that means I'm in a different season where things are a little slower, I'm still doing my thing, but I'm not go, do this, do that, because other outside factors are affecting my ability to work, my ability to work out, film, and so on and so forth. Being okay with being in this season of it's a little bit down right now, but once I get it, I know I'll go right back into let's get after it, has helped me kind of sit back and, I'm obviously disciplined in certain moments where when I have to do things, I have to do things and get them done because maybe it's my job and I have certain timelines that I need to hit. But for the most part, I think that's what's helping me get through it is I know it's temporary and I know in certain scenarios, it's just kind of what I have to do. Sometimes, like you said, we have to pull ourselves up our bootstraps a little bit and be okay with these annoying or uncomfortable or not ideal scenarios that we're in and just kind of keep trudging along and know that things are going to eventually get better and pan out. And a quote that I heard once from Hormozy, which I liked, some people don't like him, I kind of like him, is he was talking about how he likes competing against people who need to be in their routines because if they're out of their routines, they get thrown off. But he's like, I'm just going to keep doing it because he says they're, quote, easy to beat, right? If you don't do your, if not doing your morning breath work and then your workout and then your and this and that and all of these like morning rituals, which I know is your thing. I'm not a morning routine guy. I just get up and go and do it wherever I'm at, kitchen table, coffee table, or my desk. That's something that I kind of try and keep to myself or keep telling myself as well is, yes, this is temporary, but also this is where like people stand out is you're not in an ideal situation right now, but you're still going to do what you need to do.
It reminds me of a great conversation I was having with one of my clients that I coach, and he's a high level entrepreneur, right? An executive inside a business. And he said, after every month, I like to kind of regroup and see what's really working well. And he said something that he brought to his team was something that I've really tried to instill in him. And it's along the lines, I believe, of what you're saying. Giving 100% every single day. However, you're not at 100% every day. So he would weigh in with me every day and then give me his percentage of where he felt he was, i.e. was he traveling for business, were the meals prepared, all of the external factors. Now, if that score for the day was only 40%, I'm only asking you to give me 100% of 40%. So you're really only giving me 40% for the day.
Right.
But that's all you have. You cannot expect people, and even ourselves, we cannot expect to show up 100% of 100 every single day. But if you know that you're having a crappy day and all that you can do is move the needle forward in one aspect of your life, in my opinion, you have to do that. And that's, I think, exactly what you're talking about. But it was very refreshing for him to regurgitate that back to me off of something that we've been doing every single day for 90 days.
Yeah. No, I like that. It's similar, same concept hit me hard when somebody talked about having seasons of your life.
Yep.
Where, you talk about work-life balance, whatever it is, it's in the grand scheme of things, you can have that. But there are going to be times where you got to put your head down and go. And there are going to be times where you just can't, and that's all right.
It was so funny, though. And this is also just understanding that everybody's interpretation of their hard is different.
Right.
So this dude would give me alongside his weigh-in a number that was out of 100 for the day. So like one day I remember it was like a 17. And I'm like, why is it a 17? And literally he had like 25 reasons as to why it was. And the number one being like, yo, my wife is traveling this week and I have all 3 kids. So you know what I'm saying? So like there has to be this level of understanding even when you are a go-getter. And this is somebody who makes 7 figures a year and he's very successful financially, but he just wants more alignment and leadership in his life. And that was one takeaway that he felt. He was like, wow, I used to get so overwhelmed by just trying to perform at a level that I couldn't perform at. And then he would fall short and then eventually stop doing the things. And that's why he would fall off. So now with this new method, it's kind of helped him a lot.
It's great.
Yeah. What would be, this is a funny one. I was thinking about this. If the kettlebell could speak, right? No, I'm serious.
Okay.
What lesson do you think you have taken from the kettlebell? Like, can you put the kettlebell into life, right? Because to me, I just think weights are a phenomenal, just analogy for life. You work so closely with this damn kettlebell.
Yeah.
I mean, you have nicknames for it. It's a cannon with what?
Cannonball with handles on it.
Right. So if the kettlebell could speak on leadership, what do you think the kettlebell would say?
If it could speak on leadership, I'm going to bring it back. There's two things that come to my mind, but I'm going to bring it back to what you said and what we were talking about, how I said it's a skill. Because I think a lot of leadership initially comes from, at least the way I was defining it, is self-development or personal development. You get better and then you motivate people or teach other people. So I think in this instance, if the kettlebell could speak, it would talk about patience and practice, because that's exactly what you were struggling with. It's what I see a lot of people struggle with is you can push through the hard times. This isn't for me. It doesn't feel right. I don't like it. Oh, wow. All of a sudden I got really good at this. It's like when you are trying to lose weight. It's not happening. All of a sudden you take a picture and you're like, oh, I look a lot better. So I think that would be one of the things, because it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to use, to learn, and it's going to challenge you in many different ways. And there are many different ways to measure progress with it besides I put more weight on. You can get better at it. You can do a snatch with the same exact weight, but you're like, that one just felt better. That one had a little bit more swag in it. And I think that's what it can do in that instance is it teaches you a lot of patience, practice, and repetition. And that's how you're eventually going to get to the next level. And then as soon as you get to the next level, there's another roadblock, another thing you weren't thinking of, same process.
That's great. Look at you.
Hey, I'm working on it.
It almost seemed stupid at first, but as I was thinking about it this morning when I was working with it. And I'm like, yo, if this thing can actually talk right now, because to me, weights, it's just been a huge part of my life in general. Like, and honestly, sometimes they talk to me. I swear to God, they talk to me. And a lot of times they're like, come on, motherfucker, let's go. Pick me up.
Yeah.
Go ahead, because you don't want to pick me up right now. And I have these conversations. I know it's a little weird, but I have these conversations with these weights, man.
Well, because it never feels exactly the same or as good as you want it to. If we could all just linearly go up, we'd all be winning gold medals. But we're going to have days where we feel amazing. We're going to get after it and do the 100 out of 100%. And then days where you're just like, it's not in the tank today. And I'm going to go a little bit lighter. And you know that's just one day.
I don't know if you have anything for this person, but there's certain people that go through these seasons of life very consistently in a negative way. And they can never seem to break through. And you could speak on your expertise in terms of working out. They'll work out for 6 months and then they won't show up for 4 months. And then they get to a rock bottom and they're like, oh my God, I need to work out again. Is there anything that you've seen that actually works for somebody in their life to retake charge of their fitness? Does that make sense?
100%. It's basically my whole philosophy. I'm going to give one quick thing on that. One, get some sort of semi-decent setup to work out at home. 2 kettlebells, 5 dumbbells, get something to work out at home, because a lot of times life gets in the way and getting to the gym is a huge problem for people. You just had your first kid, go swing a kettlebell and do push-ups for 15 freaking minutes, check the box, win the day. You got that win and you can move on. So I would say that would be huge, because time is just it's such a valuable commodity nowadays and it's just tight. If you have something that allows you to kind of sort of work out at home, besides like the 1 band and the 3 pink dumbbells you bought 7 years ago, something at home. But the overarching philosophy is you have to do something you like. This is my whole thing, is the reason that person stopped going to the gym after the 6 months is they got bored. Most people don't stop doing something they really enjoy doing. So if you were bodybuilding for 6 months and it just kind of got a little boring, and obviously life gets in the way, but for the most part, if you love it, like nothing's going to stop you from going to the gym for 4 months, because you like to do it and you know it's good for you and so on and so forth. But you might change up what you're doing, and that's fine. And I think a lot of people are caught up in this, I need to do X, Y, and Z every time I go to the gym. And if I don't, it wasn't right. It needs to be an hour. It needs to be this because I want to build muscle and so on and so forth. And obviously different things are going to get different goals. And if you have specific goals, you should be doing certain things. But for the most part, If you feel that you are yo-yoing and constantly falling off, you just have to find something you like. And if that changes every 6 months, fine. It's not that big of a deal. You're not getting paid to work out. I don't even get paid to work out. So if I don't like what I'm doing for a workout for a period of time, I'm just going to do something different. Yeah, I don't use kettlebells because I think they're the greatest thing in the freaking world. I like using them. That's my criteria. And if there's 3 days where I don't feel like using them, I'm not going to use them. I'll go for a run, I'll do a body weight workout and go to jujitsu. And then the next day I'll go grab my kettlebells again. But I think that's where people tend to fall off is they get too caught up in I need to hit this goal. I need to do this thing instead of trying to enjoy the process of moving their body and working out, which opens the door to thousands of different things. And that's where they tend to fall off. Because if they grew to just enjoy going or enjoy moving their body in whatever way, then I think they would, when life gets crazy, they wouldn't fall off. They would just maybe adjust things a little bit or do something different.
I love that. I love that. I thought you were going to say something along the lines of like group fitness because that's inspiring too. But also then I was thinking of maybe the person who might be embarrassed to work out in front of others because maybe they're just not comfortable working out. But then also your home base situation, I think, handles that as well. Yeah. And the only thing I think I would add to that is there should be, I think, 2 or 3 options. Yeah, for that person, like you were saying that you do, because if somebody just likes to walk, right? Like I think you're gonna, you can lose some weight, but like you also need like some level of muscle, because health is essential too these days, right? Like there's so many bad things going on, i.e. the food, the chemicals, all this other stuff. The one thing in terms of leadership that we can take control over is our output, right? And we have to do some level of fitness, every single person, because I do believe that you will feel better. And it's the same thing as like a hobby, but I think I would challenge and say that, yes, although you might like to work on cars because that's a hobby of yours, you still have to find time to do some level of physical activity. For sure. You have to. So I would just tweak and just say, give yourself 2 options.
I like that a lot. And I would even add in, because that's when you say that, I realize that's me. I have my kettlebells. Sometimes I don't like using them. I'll go for a run, I'll go for a walk. I've got my 4 options. And I'll add something into that as well is another option could be a shorter workout's fine. Check the box, take your win. You're going to have seasons of life. If for a month all of your workouts have to be 15 minutes, then it's okay. Because it's pretty easy to maintain. It's really hard to get it all back when you lose it. So just be okay with 15, 20, whatever it is minutes. Just do something.
I like that. What did we not touch on today that you want to discuss?
What did we not touch on? I guess anything in it. You have anything in the, I just like the personal, professional development side of things.
Like,
I'll say this, because we spoke on it a little bit when it comes to content, your phone, entrepreneurship, and so on and so forth, just because it's a really big part of my life and something that I've learned over the years is try, and I'm learning this so right now I'm renovating my garage or redoing it up to make it ready for work. And I am doing it with a handyman. So I hired him, but I said, I want to learn how to do some of this stuff. And this is something somebody brought up to me a while ago. They're like, a few people are like, that's a really good idea. And it made me remember why I've gotten better at content creation. I think I'm pretty good at it, is being really okay at sucking at something and just knowing that that's what it is. Your first podcast, again, you look back at your first podcast, you probably like, that sucked.
Shaky.
100%. Maybe your first 50 sucked in your head, right? 100%. And I think that's something that so many people are so afraid of doing. And it's something Cody has mentioned to me before is I'm really cool with starting something and be like, I'm going to fucking suck at this. Like, fine. And like, just being completely fine with that. It's difficult. I'm not going to say that it's easy, but you get more confident as you just start to do things more and more that you're not good at. And you just learn so much more throughout the process. If you're okay asking questions on how to do something, you're okay with something not being good. And as long as you're learning from it, you can't just throw out bad stuff and do bad stuff and not learn from it. If you learn from it, it's just going to make everything so much better. And especially in entrepreneurship, business, leadership, personal and professional self-development, everything, fitness. Be okay with not being bad at it, because most people don't actually give a shit if you're bad at it.
I love that. And then I guess on that same, that same point, I was sharing, and because you weren't there, I'll share it with you. Just, we were talking about how ugly the world is these days, and it's something that you just see over and over and over again. I was actually on my father's boat a couple weeks ago with, it was 2 different times. Once with Katie and Callie, and then once with my sister, and then my brother-in-law. Mm-hmm. And on one of those, like my sister was holding on for like dear life. She's a little scary, Mary. Shout out Danielle. But then my dad ends up telling us a story, and this might have been the next time I was on the boat with Katie. I can't remember. But, you're looking at this ocean, and this ocean is so wild. It's so big. It's rough. It's dark. You don't know how far it is underneath you. You don't know what little animal is down. It's just wild. Mm-hmm. And then a call had come over, and he was telling us a story about a boat that was sinking. And it just, for whatever reason, I snapped right into like leadership mode. And the only reason why that boat is sinking is because it's letting the water in, right? And now it's the same thing with personal and professional development. When we allow this outside noise to take over our emotions, take over the way that we move on a daily basis, we do the same thing that boat is going to do and sink. Or we have the option to remain grounded, to remain on our boat, not do anything too stupid that's going to sink us. And it was a great analogy for life. And then also I was thinking along the lines of, I know it's hard to hear sometimes, but your life right now is a reflection of exactly what you tolerate. Mm-hmm. In your body, in your mind, in your relationships. So if you don't like something that's in your life, it's there because you've tolerated it. And the only thing that you need to do to change it is to figure out some level of new system. And I want to encourage you that that's okay, right? It's okay to feel that way and then just find the process to begin to move in another direction. That happens to me all the time in my life. What worked before is not the same thing that's going to get me to the next level. And I just want to reiterate that for people because it's something that sparked from what you were saying.
You might have to try 8 different things to get out of that sinking boat, right? Mm-hmm. There's 10 different ways to do so. And I think that's something that people get caught up in. I've done it myself in the past. I'm sure you have, everybody has, where they have a problem. They try A to fix it. A didn't work. So like, all right, can't do it. It's like, no, you could have tried B. B didn't work. Try C. C didn't work, and so on and so forth. It's the same thing with, again, bring it back to fitness and diet. There's 50 different ways to lose weight. Keto, intermittent fasting, counting macros, whatever. There's a lot of different things that are just going to work with different people. If you want to stay more disciplined, is it waking up early? Is it making your bed in the morning? Is it reading your Bible? Whatever it is, there's so many different things that you can try and can do to start moving in the right direction. And you just have to try a bunch of stuff. I've said it with fitness. I said it with, when it comes to content and businesses, you just have to be okay with trying something. It didn't work. Move on to the next one. It's not that big a deal. And you didn't fail. Right. You just figured out what didn't work for you. And that's cool. It's cliche, but
no. Speaking of Bible, you didn't get that Bible, did you?
I didn't get that Bible. I got intimidated by that.
It
I won't
scared
lie.
you, right?
Yeah, I thought it was like a dude book, and then I
you thought it was 30 lessons to lead.
I thought it was something like that. I thought it was like the Bible condensed down for like a dude, and then I went to the store and I was like, oh, this is a Bible. And I was like, yeah, no, this ain't. This isn't. That's exactly what I was like. Damn, this isn't for me, but. I like the concept of it. It just wasn't. It wasn't for me.
If you're reading what I post, even the little pictures of it, you're good. Bro.
I get my sermon every day from Dave Regina.
You're good, bro. You're good. Yeah. Any upcoming projects or anything that you got going on?
Nothing specific, without getting into too much detail. But we got the A Summit coming up. Super pumped about that, and just trying to make the program, make the content. Make all the social media, just trying to make it as good as I can for everybody to be able to digest it if it's right for them.
Mm-hmm. I saw you doing some work with my brother Alan Collins.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes. So we hopefully have a PD supplement. I feel confident saying it. I feel good saying that. Hopefully have a little PD supplement coming in hot soon.
Wow. Pat Damiano, professional development, PD.
This is why we keep you around.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so we got that.
Throw a little extra creatine in that one.
It's already got extra
Oh,
protein in
there
it.
you
Come
go.
on now. We know the deal. But yeah, that'll be exciting. It'll be fun to work with him. I'm
Very
pumped
cool.
for that.
Alan's
But
the best, man.
he is. He's a really good dude. It's one of the best things I got at Ace was him. He's a good dude. But yeah, man, everything's going smooth right now.
Good.
You know,
Let's keep it that way, man.
We're trying.
We stay out the ocean, my brother.
Usually when it's smooth is when I'd like to throw a wrench in everything and just take a hard right turn and
No.
you know, go off the deep end in some other direction. But
No,
trying to
be
pull
careful.
back on that.
Where can everybody connect with you and also find Bellplex?
So Bellplex, if you just go to patdamiano.com, it'll take you right to Bellplex. And then everything else is Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. It's just at @patdamiano_. It's the same everywhere. Search me and I'll Google me.
The Kettlebell King. Oh, we still have a project that needs to be completed, my brother.
Yes, we do.
We do.
We do.
We need to get that.
We both need to take 14 things off of our plate first, and then maybe we can figure it
But
out.
even with that, so this is going side note. You see how I operate, right?
Yeah.
I just sent that. Like I was like, "Yo, let's do it."
Yeah.
And I sent you. I don't even know how many pages.
Dude,
A lot of pages in the book.
I'm the same way though, and that's something I've had to pull back on because I'm very easily distractible in a business and entrepreneurial sense of let's do this, and this, and I've had to hone it in. And ever since I've done that, things have grown more than ever, and I've had to kind of take a breath, pull back on certain things sometimes because I get distracted easily.
So I think we should put it out there. I think we created an ebook in 2026.
Okay,
For strength and leadership.
I like that. We can make it work. I was talking to CV. I'm going to have a lot of videos that we can plug and play into that coming up very soon.
I like that.
So that'll be, we can get a little 30-day worship and workout or whatever. We get a little 30-day ebook of, your daily Dave and your, let's see. I can't think of anything that'll go with a P, but your daily Dave and a little workout with Pat every day.
What?
Performing Pat.
No, listen, man. I think the two just go hand in hand.
They do.
To be honest, strength and leadership. It's you can't have one without the other.
No.
And I think that's for the mind, the body, the soul, all of the things. Did you tell everybody where they can find you on Instagram?
Yeah,
you did already.
At Pat Damiano. That's cool. Everywhere.
Listen, my brother, I appreciate you.
This is great.
And guys, whether you listen to one episode or 243 episode with my brother, the Kettlebell King, I encourage you guys to check everything that Pat is doing. He's truly somebody that I love, that I respect, and that I believe in. And Pat, I'm so grateful for you to be here, my brother.
Appreciate you having me.
Thank you again. And guys, you can shop the latest merch at nosnoozeshop.com and grab your copy of 30 Lessons to Lead at daveregina.com. And until next time, stop snoozing.
Get up and get after it.
Go swing that bell, baby.
Let's go.
Thank you guys for tuning in. That's another epi in the books. You can follow us on Instagram at No Snooze Podcast and leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, No Snooze. Shop the latest merch at nosnoozeshop.com. Come on.